Did you know that if you have hearing loss, your employer may be required to provide you with workplace accommodations under the Americans with Disabilities Act? Well, in this video, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about the ADA and how to get those accommodations at work. Coming up. Hi guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Anthem, Arizona. And on this channel, I cover a bunch of hearing-related information to help make you a better informed consumer. So if you're into that, consider hitting the subscribe button. There are currently 50 million Americans with hearing loss, and 60% of those are either in the workforce or in an educational setting. This means that there is a lot of individuals who are working that may need additional accommodations so they can perform up to their maximum capabilities while on the job. This is one of the reasons that the Americans with Disabilities Act, otherwise known as the ADA, was signed into law on July 26th of 1990. It's an equal opportunity law that prevents against discrimination for individuals who have a disability. But for the sake of this video, I'll be talking specifically about hearing loss. This law encompasses both private and public sector employers, including state and local governments that must comply with Title I of the ADA. The ADA calls these covered entities, but in order to have to comply, these employers have to have at least 15 employees. That is, except for state and local governments, those employees are covered regardless, and there are some religious institutions that are exempt from the ADA Title I. Under Title I of the ADA, employers are required to provide reasonable accommodations to their employees. What is a reasonable accommodation? Basically, it's anything that would help an employee do their job better or any other aspect of employment that is enjoyed by other employees, unless it would create undue hardship for the employer. So let's talk about some reasonable accommodations in the workplace if you have hearing loss. First and foremost, an assistive listening device like an FM system, something that can dramatically help you in a workplace environment, and it definitely would be considered a reasonable accommodation. Another thing would be maybe a sign language interpreter, someone who can relay information from other employees or clients to you as an individual who may understand sign language. Another thing could be closed captions. If some aspect of your job is required to watch video, something like that, they could be required to provide you with closed captioning on those videos. And of course, any kind of structural alterations that are reasonable, something like acoustical tiles or carpeting, things that can go on the walls to prevent a lot of reverberation and make the workplace definitely a more pleasant environment if you have hearing loss. And then you could also have the employer educate other employees at your job in order to help them understand how to better communicate with you. One thing that is not considered a reasonable accommodation is hearing aids. Hearing aids are something that you can actually use outside of the workplace, and therefore it isn't something that you specifically need in order to perform your job better. Now, there have been cases where employers have had a looped system in their workplace to where an employee could use a telecoil to gain access to it, but employees did not have telecoils in their hearing aids. So they went ahead and got them hearing devices that did have a telecoil so they could use the loop in their facility. So what should you do to request a reasonable accommodation for your employer for your hearing loss? Well, the first thing that you should do is ask. But you want to make sure that you ask in written form, whether it's an email or a letter. And I actually have a sample letter linked in the description below from askjan.org, which is the job accommodation network. They have a template that you can follow in order to do a request on your own. Now, the simple fact of the matter is that most employers are more than happy to comply with your request and are happy to do so. But if you have an employer that does not comply with your requests or does not comply with all of your requests and you feel like you need some help, there is actually help out there for you. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, otherwise known as EEOC, is the enforcement arm of the ADA. They will actually mediate the situation between you and your employer to see if they can help you guys come to a reasonable outcome and accommodation. Now, if you feel like you need to take it a step further than going to the EEOC, then you can actually hire a lawyer yourself or use the EEOC's lawyer to help you out. So I know what you're thinking, Cliff, that's great, but my employer does not have at least 15 employees. What do I do? Well, you may still be in luck. Most states have a vocational rehabilitation office that you can go to in order to seek out accommodations for your hearing loss. All you need to do is Google search for vocational rehabilitation in your state and see if they have some kind of an office that you can go to or that you can get in touch with in order to see what they can help you do for accommodations in your workplace. Now, even if your employer doesn't have 15 employees, there are a lot of companies out there who are more than happy to help you function better in the work environment if they have to provide you with additional accommodations to do so. Remember, a productive employee makes a happy employer. If you want more information, feel free to check out the Americans with Disabilities Act information page at www.ada.gov or check out the Job Accommodation Network page at www.askjan.org. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you liked the video, go ahead and share it. And if you want to see more videos just like this one, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time.